Hey, this is Tommy Wiseau. How are you guys doing? Greg is here.
Hey, this is Greg, and you're listening to Upside Down Shock Radio.
Yeah, be upside down. Don't worry about it.
Hello, and welcome to episode 28 of Upside Down Shark Radio, the premier pop culture podcast, here at UpsideDownShark.com or where all good podcasts are found. Make sure to leave a like and review, and if you like what we do, please like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Bebo.
Please.
Exactly. I am one of your hosts, Tom, and joining me tonight is the only homeowner in Upside Down Shark, Paul Wood.
How's it going, guys?
How you doing, Paul?
Yeah, not too bad, man. How's it?
It's not bad. I'm recovering my sleeping pattern ever so slowly from Mania, being that we are UK based. It is a slog and a half.
It was only 7 hours long.
Oh, it was, with pre-show, it was 10 p.m. to about 5:30, wasn't it? Yeah, man.
Yeah, about 7 hours straight through midnight and out the other end.
That's longer than most working days I've had.
Yeah, to be fair, it was.
But luckily, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was one of the better Manias they've had, definitely.
Yeah, well, when this goes up, it would have been over a week since Mania's happened, so we're not going to run through it in too much detail, but we'll just give our broad stroke impressions of what we thought happened and everything. And yeah, I agree with you. I think overall it was a good show, but my God, was it a weird Mania. It's the weirdest Mania I've seen in a good long while.
It's been a while since I've seen three pimps walk down a ramp following tiny midgets as pancakes.
Yeah, that's not going to age well. Like, that's only been out a week and it already has not aged well. Did you notice that one of the pancake people, that when they were doing a worm but on the side of the ring, one of them pulled something and he almost had to get help to the back?
Yeah.
Oh, of all the worst injuries to get at Mania, that was that was a weird one. It was a weird one. Like much of the show. I mean, we have. Not anymore, but on the night we had a 10-year-old become Raw Tag Team Champion along with Braun Strowman.
And then vacate it the next day because he's still in 4th grade.
Yeah, I mean, that little segment on Raw was absolutely genius. Braun Strowman is just a gift and can make anything work. He's my favourite. But what did you think was match of the night on Mania itself?
I'd probably have to go with AJ Shinsuke, but that's because it's almost a 5-star match every time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was anywhere near as good as their Wrestle Kingdom match a few years ago.
No.
But I think that's just the style of New Japan. It's more of a slow build with just finisher after finisher at sort of at the end. But yeah, I thought for the time constraints that they had, it was really good. And Shinsuke as a heel is something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be real good.
I mean, he was a heel for most of his run in New Japan when he was the leader of the Chaos faction.
Yeah.
And he was just sarky and horrible.
Now he can let it go and just go crazy.
Oh, did you see? Oh, you haven't watched SmackDown yet,
I haven't watched SmackDown.
Oh, the promo he pulled on SmackDown was a genius. He was interviewed backstage by Renee Young, and she was saying, "Why did you do this to AJ?" And in the most sarcastic way possible. He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I think my emotions got the best of me and everything." And in his such a unique accent in the WWE, it just sounded so venomous and so angry without him ever having to raise his voice. And she was like, "Shinsuke, you're clearly not being genuine with me, or you're not being serious." And then he just sort of knelt down to like look her in the eye, like get right on her face, and just said the line, "Sorry, me no speak English," and walked off.
Fair.
It was absolutely amazing. I feel like since he's come on to main, he hasn't been the same as he was in New Japan or NXT.
Yeah.
He hasn't been booked right in terms of his strength. I don't think he's had the chance to show what he can do in the ring, because he is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
But he does work better as a heel historically, so that's very exciting to see him.
Yeah, it's a good thing coming out.
And again, going in back to SmackDown last week, he interfered in a match between Daniel Bryan and AJ. So I'm hoping that they may bring Daniel Bryan into this feud as well.
That'll be amazing.
So
just a triple threat between them three. That could easily be the best wrestling match ever.
Palpitations. I'm getting the vapors. Yeah, it was fantastic. I would say personally, the match that I was most impressed with bearing in mind it was a match I had no hope for going in, was Rousey Kurt versus the McMahons.
I will give it that. That was actually a phenomenal match.
For the limitations of a couple of the performers, it was everything it needed to be and more. I thought Ronda was way better than anyone thought she would be. She was throwing out Hurricane Ranas.
Oh, yeah.
She was fluid.
She's been training hard. She just needs to learn to cut a promo now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Once she decides to stop smiling and waving to the crowd, then she'll be perfect. But Steph played her part really well. She was annoying. She was getting in the way. So she played up to the heel character really, really well. Kurt and Hunter, perfect as ever.
The spoiler out, the false ending.
Yeah. It's weird how much Triple H got hands on Ronda as well, considering the whole company line they've been towing is that, never ever, we're never going to let a man lay a hand on a woman. Like, just we
except
don't.
Ric Flair.
Well, yeah, that was poor Becky. Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I don't think they'll do it for anyone else other than Ronda Rousey, because she is sort of on a level of toughness and badassery that no other competitor, probably other than Brock Lesnar, can claim, at least legitimately. So, yeah, it was a really, really good match. But non-wrestling, my highlight of the whole show has to be fan John Cena. What a gift.
It's super, super hammy.
When he retires, I want him to just be in the crowd, the front row of every show. Just have a non-competing contract where he just overreacts to everything. And then bring him out of retirement by a ref whispering over to his ear that whoever he wants to fight is in the building and he has to vault the barrier.
Yeah.
Everything. I was hoping that the security guard... Do you remember last year's Mania when it was the Battle Royale and Gronk... the American football player who helped out Mojo Rawley in the Battle Royale. When he went to vault the barrier, one of the security ladies didn't realise that he was part of the show. Yeah. So she tried to tackle him to the ground, and the other security guards were like, no, this is all part of the show. I was half expecting one of them to do that to John Cena, not recognise him, and be like, you can't do that. But yeah, he was just comedy gold, as he often is in sort of this post Super Cena era.
Yeah.
Now that he's just a walking, talking meme, he's fully embraced it.
He really has. He'll have a even longer, more illustrious career because of it. Yeah,
I mean, just for anyone who hasn't watched it, John Cena was sitting in the front row of the crowd because he officially had no match that night, even though he would end up to wrestle The Undertaker. And so he was just drinking beers, like taking photos with fans and everything. He was like proper playing up to I'm just a fan here. He's in his jeans and everything. It wasn't even jorts. And then a referee comes running down the ramp past the ring and whispers in his ear, Undertaker's here. And John Cena, in weirdly the campest run I've ever seen, vaults the barrier and just saunters up to the ramp. It's backstage. The amount of memes that occurred within 20 minutes of that segment was phenomenal. There was people saying the referee was whispering that there was a sale of jorts backstage, and so he's just running to get his jorts.
This one was can definitely be crowned like WrestleMania.
That was it.
Nicholas, within seconds.
The 10-year-old Raw Tag Team Champ, it was... I initially thought he was a Make-A-Wish kid that they'd brought from the crowd. Apparently he was the referee's son.
I have seen that.
Which, fair enough. Why not? It's Mania. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, wrestling, and particularly WWE, is targeted for children. So I can give crazy nonsense like this a pass, especially when it's someone as entertaining as Braun Strowman involved.
Yeah, Braun Strowman. If Braun Strowman can carry a tag match with a 10-year-old, he can do anything he wants.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can tell the mark of how impressive he is, because he can do all this comedy, weird, wacky stuff and still come off like a legitimate badass at the same time.
Yeah.
He sort of fits into the Stone Cold mold even more so there. Like, because if Bray did that, or someone who takes themselves very seriously, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, if Bray Wyatt walked into the crowd and like grabbed a child and just like, you're coming with me, like, there'd be investigations. Like,
yeah, he's not got the most friendly face, has he? But Again, just sort of wrapping up the Mania talk. I did notice when Braun Strowman was walking into the crowd to pick his partner, there was a still where he walked past his dad, and Braun Strowman's dad is the spitting image of Braun Strowman, just with a grey beard instead of a black beard.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I saw him walk past No Way Jose,
and
just blank him entirely.
And weirdly enough, British veteran wrestler, what's his name? Johnny Moss, who is now a trainer at the Performance Centre, but who was a massive name on the indie circuit for years. I think he walked past British Strong Style as well. Yeah. I mean, I would quite like to have seen Pete Dunne as his tag partner, but hey ho, 10-year-old, why not? But going back to the we're going back to the Steph Triple H Ronda Kurt match.
Yes, yeah.
You were drawing an interesting comparison between Triple H and a popular video game character. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's just because he's getting older or what, but I don't know if you noticed, his beard is now majestic.
It is. He's transitioned fully from long hair Triple H to bald beardy badass Triple H again, but it's a perfectly sculpted majestic beard. Yeah,
and he uncannily resembles Kratos from the new God of War game.
As soon as you mentioned that off air, I can't see him as anything else now.
No, like Triple H and Kratos. And if you bring up, do it now. Type in Triple H 2018 and Kratos 2018.
I'm doing it as well.
I've done this, and there are pictures of both of them in near identical poses.
Let's have a look. On-air research. Blimey. Yeah, I know that's an edit, but you can't see what I'm seeing, but that is Triple H as Kratos, excuse me.
Yeah, Triple H Kratos is a thing.
So if we got John Cena as Duke Nukem, could we have Triple H
Dave Bautista as Drax?
Yeah. Mind you, Triple H objectively cannot act, so...
Well, you say that, but he plays Triple H really well.
That's just because
Paul Levesque is nothing like Triple H.
I don't know.
Imagine if they made a God of War film and he kept like almost the character.
Yeah.
Like if he was Triple H but Kratos.
It's all about the game.
Like make the entire film, because the thing is, you've only seen him in really stupid roles. Like,
are you saying
the Chaperone? And
Blade 3.
Was it Blade 2, Blade 3, whichever one he was in?
How dare you? They are both legitimate, seminal pieces of cinema art.
Yeah, but this was a man who had a fur coat and a tiny dog.
Yeah.
He was in no way a serious character.
Well, yeah, that's your opinion, man. That's your opinion. But, yeah, speaking of God of War, the new one, it's getting phenomenal reviews. I believe it will be only a few days from release when this goes up live. But yeah, just looking on Polygon.com, they're giving it 10 out of 10, which is interesting because when you think of God of War when it first came about, it was kind of just like a mindless, gory hack and slash on the first two iterations. And apparently now that they're delving into his life with his, I think it's his son.
Yeah, it's his son.
It's getting some real gravitas.
So they've moved away from Greek mythology into Norse mythology now.
I see.
And so they're playing very heavily on the Norse mythology.
Interesting.
But apparently it's still the same Kratos, so he can't read or write Norse. But his son can, so he's basically your translator in the game.
That's a good mechanic. Good mechanic. I have to be honest. I've never actually played any of the God of War games. I think they came about. Was the first one on PS2?
Yeah, it was around about 2005.
So it must have been just sort of at the end of the PS2's life. Well, just before the next gen at the time consoles came out.
Yeah, it was predominantly PS3. That's where most of the God of Wars are.
See, I was quite late to the PS3. I had a 360 long before I had a PS3. So I think just because of that, because by the time I got a PS3, I believe it was God of War 3 that was out. So it was a bit more of a barrier of entry for me because I would have had to have played the ones going up to it. Yeah. So I never got around to it. But I'm intrigued to pick up this one just on the basis of the reviews. It looks like it's going to be bit of a show stealer this year.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be. Well, there's all the reviews saying it could be the game of the generation.
Wow,
like it's going to be the definitive PS4 game.
That's a bold claim.
So I'll be interested. It drops in the UK on the 20th, I believe.
Yes, I believe so. So that will be in the end of this week, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or early next week by the time goes up and everything.
I'm going to be first in line for the special edition console that they're releasing for it.
Yeah, we just going on to that. You say this could be the game of the generation. The special edition God of War PS4 Pro is definitely the console of the generation.
It's so beautiful.
It is one of the prettiest consoles I've ever seen. If you haven't checked it out yet, do yourself a favor and look up this console. Everything from the console itself to the controller design, it's just a work of art.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's grey and gold and The release trailer for it was fantastic as well.
Yeah.
They went from in-game footage, he held his axe up and it turned into a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, the design on the console just sort of morphs from the axe into the console itself. There's been some ropey PS4 and Xbone Special Edition consoles in the past. I believe one of the Star Wars ones was a bit naff.
Yeah, Star Wars one was a bit naff. The Final Fantasy one was really plain.
But, well, I mean, we've had some good ones, particularly the PS4 Anniversary Edition. That was muy bueno.
That was very nice. Super limited edition.
It was hard to get, it still is hard to get hold of. But yeah, I think at the time they were going for like $1,000 or something, weren't they?
Yeah. Easy.
Jeez. But it got me thinking, like, what would you say, sort of special editions aside and whatnot, what would you say is probably the best looking console of all time? Because we talk about performance and the library of games, but there's something to be said about the actual craft of a console itself and what it looks like. The aesthetic, good, that's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, I was just wondering if you had any particular personal favourites.
I mean, this God of War one, as soon as I saw it, I literally fell in love with that console. Like,
you have been mentioning it a lot.
It's the most beautiful console I've ever seen. So possibly that one. I have an affinity for grey.
Okay.
Great things. They released a grey version of the 360 Slim, the 360S.
Did they?
Not 360S, Xbox One S, sorry.
Did they?
The Xbox One S has a grey one.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that.
The entire thing's matte grey, but it's a nice shade of grey. Problem is, it's only a 500 gig console.
Yeah, I never again. If you enjoy having 4 games at one time, then stick to 500 gigabytes.
Yeah.
If you want any more, go up. You just have to go up.
So yeah, I mean, the new gen ones do look considerably prettier. Like, I mean, some of the 90s ones, don't get me wrong, they are very nice. They're not very aesthetic though. They're more retro aesthetic.
I suppose.
You don't get wood panelling anymore.
I was going to say the Atari 2600 of that generation is just beautiful. I love the wood panelling. You could put that up in a log cabin and it wouldn't look out of place. I did notice that, I'm not sure if it's pure Atari anymore, but the company that owns Atari are releasing a new console which is meant to be, and I'm probably going to get shafted for this if I'm making this up, which I might be, but it might be Linux based, so you can sort of install your own hardware and like Steam and whatnot.
Yeah, I have heard of this. I think it's basically an Atari Steam machine.
Yeah, which I'm glad that Atari are making hardware again, even if it's not Atari as it once was, and that's a pretty looking console just on the concept art. I don't believe there's a physical test model yet, but it's a work in progress. But yeah, the 2600 was glorious, I would say, and it's a controversial one, but I really like the GameCube as a console.
Oh, GameCube!
Yeah, it's just everything about it is just so nice and neat. It's almost perfectly proportioned as a box. It can fit in most shelves just neatly in the corner. It's minimalist. There's not a lot to it, and I really like that.
They were indestructible.
That is also
like if someone breaks into your house, you can hit them with a GameCube.
Exactly. Not many consoles have a handle, and I like that about it.
My main problem with the GameCube, and this is going to be really controversial, is that there was virtually nothing to play on it.
Yeah. There is a limited catalogue. Also, I was never really a fan of the controller. It was a massive step up from the N64, which I still can't really get my head around. But when you were competing against the PS2, which, if anything, had the ultimate controller, I don't think there's a reason that the DualShock lasted 3 generations of consoles before they did anything to it. It's because it was there and it's perfect. And even the Xbox original controller after the big boy one,
the massive fat controller.
Yeah, the one that they made after that, the second generation one. Those two were very, very nice to use controllers, and I don't think the GameCube was quite there with them. But the console itself was pretty, but I would agree that compared to Xbox and the absolute pantheon of PS2 games that came out, I swear there was more games for PS2 than every other console in history combined.
I'm pretty sure.
I remember at one point at the end of the PS2's life cycle, just going into charity shops and secondhand stores and just buying games for £1 and ending up with well over 100 PS2 games at one point, and not even scratching the surface of what they had.
Yeah, there are tons of PS2 games.
I don't think we'll ever see anything quite like that again now that most of the smaller publishers go straight to digital. I don't think you'll ever see it.
The PS2s themselves, they only stopped making them last year.
Yeah. Their servers were on until very recently as well.
Yeah, this is a testament to that console, is that, 2017 is when they stopped manufacturing them.
Jesus. That's, what is that, about 16 years, give or take? I think it's 2001 that the PS2 went into production. You have to fact check that for me. But yeah, the slim version, the slimline PS2 is a very pretty console as well. The fat one, I don't think that's aged quite as well. But the slimline one is another pretty little thing.
Released in 2000 in Japan.
Oh, one year out.
And the rest of the world. So yeah, 17 years they were making the console for.
That's mighty impressive. Again, I don't know if we'll see anything like that again. How long's the Xbox One and PS4? Was it 2013?
They're coming up on 5 years now.
Yeah, I think it'll be 5 years this autumn, because I remember playing a Xbox One for the first time in my first month of university. Some rich kid had one straight away, and I'm like,
FIFA 14 was the first football game on there, so I know that would have been in 13.
Battlefield 4 was the first game I played on Xbox One, and that would have been 2013 as far as I can tell.
2013. So you're coming up on 5 years.
5 years. So for them to match PS2, they would have to go until 2030 almost.
Yeah.
Jeez.
PS2 just exceeded. I think there were certain models of PS3 they stopped making before they stopped making PS2s.
Crazy. That's crazy. And as I said, it's a pretty console. Around that time, Xbox, it was all right. I don't think it was the prettiest console. Dreamcast, again, it looked a little bit like a microwave, so I'm not the biggest fan of that. The NES, I think, was a pretty console.
SNES was a nice rounded.
There's a satisfaction with the NES, especially nowadays because it's so antiquated. Is putting in games cartridges like an old VCR player, where you slot them in, push them down. That it's just so satisfying to do that.
Yeah.
You can get all the ROMs and the emulators in the world, but there's nothing quite like sliding a cartridge in, really getting in there deep. And pushing it down. It's just
the old school re-encoding of changing the physical shape of the cartridge.
Yeah, that'll stop them. So yeah, I would say of the era where I was growing up, GameCube was always the one that always looked the best to me. But I agree with you. Nowadays, there's just so much choice and variety in terms of special edition consoles, just the general what's available. I think there's more consoles out now than there has been since the 90s, when you had like the 3DO and the Jaguar and all those other...
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. Neo Geo. So yeah, I would say I'm probably in agreement that the God of War one is the prettiest console known to mankind. What do you think? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below what you think your favourite console is. We'd love to see. And if there's actually any comments, then we'll bring it up next week and further this riveting debate.
And while you're contemplating what your favourite console is going to be...
Oh, is it my favourite time of the week?
It is Tom's favourite time of the week.
It is my favourite time of the week. It is track of the week time. Blah, 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 blah. I've got to use that MLG horn sound effect again because I paid for it. Yes. More of that. More of that. Okay. That out of the way, track of the week comes from Turin's Forbidden Seasons with their new single Wormhole off their debut LP, Promise. You can check them out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Spotify, and if you're a fan of metalcore, boy howdy, there's some chugs in this one, my lad. So without further ado, here is Forbidden Seasons with a Wormhole. Check it out.
Hi, this is Frank Turner, and you are lucky enough to be listening to Upside Down Shark Radio.
And that was Forbidden Seasons with Wormhole. Doomy, chuggy, Italian.
No, I was saying do me.
Oh, okay, maybe later. So, let's just crack on with the second half of the show by updating everyone on the Facebook situation. I'd say that I don't really know what's going on anymore. All I know is that Zuckerberg in court has led to some joyously beautiful memes. He looks so uncomfortable.
He's such a politician. He refuses to give a straight answer to anything. Like, I can see him being the next president.
He looks like a lizard man. He is genuinely a lizard man. Have you seen when he's like been drinking water while he's being interviewed, and the caption is like his internal monologue of "These sentient creatures, they drink water. I must also drink water to blend in." And people have like morphed his head into like a lizard and everything. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And if it was anyone else on Earth, I'd feel bad for it. Feel bad for it. Feel bad for him. I'm perpetuating the meme into reality. It's all blending into one. I feel bad, but ultimately, he's not like a non-executive boss who sort of just left it someone else to it, like Bill Gates did, or Steve Jobs, or whomever, where they just sort of, they're the figurehead, but they don't have anything to do with it. Mark Zuckerberg has fully admitted that he knew everything that was going on, so he has to stomach and shoulder a lot of the blame for this that's been going on. But at the same time, as someone who I don't feel like there's anything that I've personally put on Facebook or whatever that I wouldn't want the world. I wouldn't care if the world knew anyway. Like,
like internet me is no different to real me.
Exactly. So I'm not too fussed about it all personally. Obviously, on a wider scale, it's horrific. But the older senators who were interviewing and interrogating Mark Zuckerberg, their complete ineptitude of technology and what Facebook is just beautiful. He's basically spent 90% of the time trying to explain Facebook like you'd explain email to your nan or something like that. Yeah, this is just where we've got to. This is quite worrying how much of this generation gap that we have between most of the people in the world and the people in power, how they are inept when it comes to what is really the most powerful forces in society. Like social media is one of the most influential things of the past 10 years, if not the most influential thing to come about in the past 10 years. And the fact that most of the politicians in some of the most powerful nations of the world can't get their head around it, it's terrifying. You'd want them to think they have a handle on it at least, because otherwise it's just, you assume it's being completely unregulated. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. I'm getting a bit too conspiracy theory. I enjoyed the memes. That's sort of my extent of following it now. I don't care anymore. I'm so jaded.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's out of your control anyway.
I have deleted every like. I haven't deleted my Facebook yet, but I've deleted every like I have on Facebook, so that all the stuff that I've ever signed up through Facebook with no longer can access my stuff, because there's now I don't know if it was there already or if people are only just discovering it, but there's now a tool where you can just wipe it all in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's quite satisfying knowing that no one else can access your info except for you and Mark. But anyway, that's me rambling.
Lizards.
You can see this half the episode is going to be a little bit more loosey-goosey because, funnily enough, I'm running out of things to talk about. So, Paul, what have you been watching recently to keep this gravy train rolling?
There's a few things been on TV. It's actually a good time for, series have just started up or come back. There's a new series, Silicon Valley, just started back up.
Again, segue. Have you heard about TJ Miller?
What's he up? I know he's not in this series.
He's been arrested.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, quite seriously arrested.
What's he done now?
Apparently he was on a train somewhere in America and called in a report that a woman had a bomb. And when they got to the train, they found that after stopping the trains to investigate this, because obviously it's a legit, you have to investigate anything like this. The woman had no bomb. She was completely innocent, and he was absolutely. And apparently she was just reaching in and out of her bag, and he was getting paranoid because he was drunk, and he could face up to 5 years in prison.
Oh, damn.
For this. What a weird way to go to prison is.
Yeah. A drunken bomb hoax.
Yeah, it's just such a stupid way to sort of tarnish your reputation, because he is one of the funniest people in Hollywood at the moment.
Yeah.
Whenever Silicon Valley, fantastic. Him in Deadpool, fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to delay Deadpool 3.
Yeah, it's weird. It depends. Obviously.
Or unless they write it around so it turns out that he has.
Maybe.
So that Weasel's been arrested and they have to film the entire thing in prison.
That would be very funny, actually. That'd be a good way around it. It remains to be seen whether or not. I don't think he's even been charged technically. Yes, he's been arrested in sort of part of the investigation, but I believe he's not actually been formally charged yet.
He'll probably get community service of some description.
I would be very surprised if he saw any extended prison time. But yeah, it's only because you mentioned Silicon Valley, because that was the show that kind of sort of launched him into the mainstream of comedy in America. What a weird thing to come across when you're crawling through the news. There's normally horrible things happening in the world. It's either Trump or Syria or Facebook or Russian poisoning or porn stars threatening Trump, which is pretty funny. But yeah, and then suddenly TJ Miller is arrested in false bomb hoax. I'm like, okay, why not?
Yeah, no, why not?
Yeah, so there you go. Strange things happen. But going back to TV, one thing I really want to watch, but I haven't had a chance to yet, is have you heard of The Terror?
The Terror?
Yeah, it's this new thing on AMC. It's one of these ones that sort of takes a historical setting as a real historical setting as a jumping off point, and then just goes balls to the wall weird.
Okay.
And it's about, I can't remember why they're there, but it's set in it must be the 18th, 19th century. But they're exploring the Arctic Circle and in one of these old wooden ships, and they get caught in the ice. And this is the real ship that apparently did get caught in the Arctic ice. But once they get there, they notice that a lot of their crewmates are getting killed in quite graphic and gory ways. Okay. And they assume that it's a polar bear. It ain't no polar bear. It's, again, I haven't really looked much into it because I don't want to spoil it for myself, but it looks quite Lovecraftian, sort of this idea of some mysterious, supernatural, cosmic terror.
I might have to check this one out.
But boy howdy, it's meant to be one of the goriest things that has been on television in quite some time. I believe, again, I could be making this up like I do with a lot of things, I believe it is financed or produced or in some way involved with Danny Boyle. That he's had a lot to do with it. But yeah, it's got quite a predominant British cast. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good if you're into sort of like the cosmic horror, or maybe even something like The Thing. I think it's got kind of that sort of vibe to it. Yeah. There's like just lots of guys stranded in the Arctic with a weird supernatural antagonist that no one can really... It was almost unstoppable, for lack of a better phrase. But yeah, I think about 6 episodes in. For UK guys listening, I believe it's on Sky Atlantic. I don't know. I don't watch television enough. But yeah, I would say just based on the trailers, check it out. Let us know what you think and whether or not we should watch it. Because there's too much for me to watch, so I need people to tell me what to watch.
Yes.
Exactly.
I have the feeling there is a lot on.
Yeah. I mean, I have hard enough time keeping up with movies because we've just had a new Johnny English trailer out of nowhere as well.
And Boss back.
Boss back. I'm so excited because the first one of the funniest spoof films ever made, I think.
Ben Miller and Rowan Atkinson are 2 comedy geniuses.
Johnny Malkovich as Pascal Sauvage.
Yep.
Brilliant. I wanted him to become king. I would have been happy to see him as king.
Just Rowan Atkinson. Rowan Atkinson is one of the greatest comedians of our generation.
100%. 100%.
I would probably put him as personally the greatest physical comedian of all time.
He managed to make the word Bob funny on its own without context.
But not only that, I mean, you look at physical, like people that are regarded as the masters of physical comedy, and you look at Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Rowan Atkinson is definitely up there, if not on top of them.
I mean, Mr. Bean is a character that lasted generations without much dialogue at all.
I've actually been rewatching Mr. Bean again recently, and it's still funny.
I love Mr. Bean.
It never gets old.
Yeah, it's so good. It's the one he's at the swimming pool. That's the one that always gets me.
With a young Angus Deaton.
Really?
Yeah, he's the lifeguard.
Oh yeah, of course he is. I keep forgetting now that he's not on television. Didn't he get kind of like publicly shamed at one point, and then he sort of lost all his credibility? Didn't he get like involved in some sort of sex scandal or something?
Yeah, it was ages ago.
Yeah. Speaking of those again, I'm just going to go off on loads of tangents. This is Tangent City. Did you ever watch Nevermind the Buzzcocks back in the day?
Yeah.
Do you remember Mark Lamar?
Yeah.
What is he up to nowadays? Because he was brilliant.
I believe he's on the radio.
I freaking loved Mark Lamar. He was so funny. He's better than Simon Amstel. He's better than all the guest hosts they got in afterwards. He was just brilliant. And after he wrapped up hosting Buzzcocks, he seemed to just disappear off the face of the earth.
I'm not sure what happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening, Mark, let us know. There's always a slot for you at Upside Down Shark Radio if you want to be on
6
it.
degrees of separation. Somebody listening will know somebody that knows Mark Lamar.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Get us in contact. Hashtag bring us Lamar. Return of Lamar. Not the musician. He's not very good. So we've got The Terror to watch, we've got Johnny English to watch, and we've got Mark Lamar to find. Now that's some mighty good homework for the rest of the week. But just to wrap up, have you got much planned for the week ahead in the world of nerd? What are you playing this week? What are you watching this week?
I'm not really playing anything new at the moment. Just sort of cruising until God of War comes out.
When I came to your house today to record, you were playing Rory McIlroy PGA Golf Pro Tour, or whatever it is.
It was £3.50 on gold, and I needed something to play.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens to you once you reach 30.
Once you bought a house, you settle down and start playing golf games.
Yep. Eventually you end up playing golf. That's
how it segues.
It's the circle of life. But to segue to something more interesting, thank you for listening. You don't have to listen anymore. We're wrapping up now. That's the most interesting thing for you. So we're done. This is it. This is the end of episode 28. You're free. I've been Tom.
I'm still Paul.
And this has been Upside Down Shark Radio. And that is segue something or other. Bye.
Bye.
I can't clap. I've got a coffee in my hand. It's not coffee, it's tea.